also effective? The first reason is that it's a convincing, it's like a cool sound technology where it's very difficult for you as the victim to tell if it's a real sound or some kind of projected sound. So the sounds are very crystal clear and they're definitely very convincing. And also the fact that when you get hit by this sort of thing the first time, you're not aware and you wouldn't know that there's such a thing such as voice to skull. What the perpetrators do most of the time is that they bombard you with a lot of fake messages and just a lot of junk and a lot of misleading scripts and a lot of sort of misleading statements and basically trying to get you to act to get you to act in a very in a way that's not productive. So why wouldn't any person just ignore the junk or ignore everything that voice to skull brings out? The first reason is that it's more like it's almost like hacking your brain or hacking the way that your listening works. So under a normal case, obviously we hear by using our ears, which is like plain obvious. But in terms of voice to skull, it's what they actually do is that the technology bypasses your hearing, bypasses your ear, and goes right into your sort of auditory cortex. So this is where the sound that we hear with ears get translated into the actual words, whatever, or So they're actually bypassing your ear and they go straight to the processing of the brain, which means this is now effectively hogging your attention, and it's going to be difficult for you to think of anything else. It's very similar to how the experiments with the mice work. We've all heard about how they manipulate a mouse to sort of maybe for appetite control or those experiments that they run. Usually they activate a certain part of the brain or transmitting little bits and pieces of electronic impulses. This is effectively how this technology works with voice to skull, which makes it really almost impossible to ignore. But this is where the notion of hearing and listening comes in, that you are going to be forced to hear this stuff. It's going to be difficult to ignore, but as a victim you can just ignore, you can try your best to ignore the stuff that they're trying to shove into you. The other reason is that it's scripted and it's prepared. They're not just saying a lot of random stuff, they're not just talking random nonsense. They do try their best to almost spy on you and spy what you've been doing throughout the day, or spy like what you've been doing throughout the week, and they go out of their way to tailor they prepare their skits around what you've been doing. And then they're not only just talking to you or transmitting sounds into your head, but they've got other stuff they're doing in real life as well. They're sabotaging, creating theater. They go around, maybe even your mailbox, start stealing your mailbox. They redirect your phone calls. They're causing an actual real life chaos in your life, and all these things tie up as though like there's really this notion and this illusion that things are really going wrong, and they are getting paid for it. They work very hard. It's their job. It's a career. They work shifts. They take shifts over a 24-hour period. They're going around soliciting a whole lot of information. They basically, this is a job for them and they're getting paid. They have an incentive to destroy your life. And it could also be that they're reporting to somebody. If you can think of any other job, you have to report to a boss maybe once a day or once a week to try and convince him, like, this is how much I've done for the week to destroy this guy. This is how much progress we've made, that sort of thing. So the perpetrators do tailor the scripts. It's all mind games, which is very personalized, and as a victim who's new to this, it takes quite a while for you to work out, but most victims do sort of see the pattern after maybe a couple of months, that this is a little bit repetitive. This is like, no, this is some kind of scheme going on. They do take their time and to try and strike you at, to try and attack you when they know that you won't be able to do anything about it, when you're at your weakest point, and when they think that you're not going to be able to defend yourself, or you're not going to be able to survive the series of attacks. So what they try and, as much as possible, is to work out your personality and try and know everything that makes you tick in a way. They try and know everything, like all your strengths, your weaknesses, and they're always going to try and twist this into a negative as to get you down. Sort of your weaknesses might be whatever your weaknesses are. They're going to play to those and aggravate them. If you've got some strengths, like maybe you're an organized person, or you're a very disciplined person, or you're a very religious person, they're going to try and, as much as possible, to destroy those, so that you're pretty much left defenseless. With your relationships as well, they're gonna try and get as much information as possible from your friends as well. They're going to try and talk about your church. They might whisper into your ear that your church doesn't want you anymore because we know what you did sort of 2 months back. We know that you did something unpleasant, that sort of thing. So this is quite an elaborate, it's quite a detailed study that they go around doing. It's not just going around asking people for information. The bulk of this is that it's technology based, so it's almost like reading your mind as well. It's almost like hacking your brain in a way. It's important to note that they really do have access to your brain functioning. They've got some kind of mind mapping which has been somehow mapped or stored in a PC. So they've got a model of your brain. They've got all your memories. They've got your thinking patterns. They know literally everything, even the stuff that you might have forgotten 5 years ago or 10 years back. They know almost everything about you. As they going around saying these things, as they're going around playing these skits and projecting sounds and voices into your head, they've actually got some kind of dashboard where they're reading out like how you're responding to it. So they're checking if you believe what they're saying, and they just move on to another lie. That's how they, it always feels like, it always looks like everything that they're saying is works, but they actually, behind the scenes, they're doing a lot of work. It's unfortunate that it's almost like it's not a fair fight. They're pretty much using everything that there is about you to fight you, basically. They're using your guilt, your shame. You might have bribed a traffic officer at some point. They're going to try and play that out, and you thought it was only you and the traffic officer that was sort of doing the transaction, and they're going to play that out, and you're not going to feel comfortable with that sort of thing. If you've cheated on your girlfriend, it's a sort of game that they're going to be playing. If you've got certain phobias, or you're very insecure about losing your job, or maybe even insecure about different parts of your body, or insecure about whatever it is, they're going to try and play that out as much as possible to psychologically get under your skin. So voice to skull does work. It's more than just saying random stuff. It's more than just gibberish into your head. It's almost like you're fighting a system. You're fighting a system of perpetrators that are working in shifts 24 hours a day. It's almost like you're fighting a miniature god, or a false god in a way, because these perpetrators are not going anywhere. They 24 hours a day they're working. Wherever you go, the voices follow you. Whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you see, they can see your history. They know your history. They've got all your records. It does feel like you're fighting this invisible, massive, powerful system, but at the end of the day, it's still a system. It's still people behind it. So it is possible that you can cope, that you can sort of get used to some of their tricks and learn, and after a while, it sort of things you can almost like survive. A lot of the tricks are psychological, and the tactics have been proven to work. So it is tough. It does take a lot of victims, maybe even a couple of years to work it out, to figure out what's happening, and sometimes they even force you to be programmed for negativity. They force you to be conditioned for fear. It's what makes it so difficult, because it doesn't stop. It goes on for the whole day, so you never actually get a chance to rest and to regroup. That's why they have to work out what makes you strong. They have to work out where you get your strength. They have to work out if meditation is a type of thing. They're gonna destroy that. They're gonna make sure that you don't ever get any chance to regroup, find yourself, and be on your feet. And So just to recap, what really makes voice to skull works is you're not hearing the voices via your ear. It's a neurological. It's the brain that's actually being hacked away. and the attacks are actually pretty tailor-made for you. So it's best that you know yourself. It's best that you are honest with yourself, and you're not ashamed. And if they come to you and try and play some kind of emotional bribe or emotional blackmail, it shouldn't have to bother you. And it's a case of one person versus a very strong system. Right? In the next segment, just going to go through some of the psychological tricks and some of the tactics they play.